Hi everybody, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching today. So I thought I would film myself making the flowers for the samples that I'm doing for when I'm on Create and Craft with my next launch. I thought it would be quite nice for those of you that do purchase the dies that you have this video as a reference to see how I've made the flowers, because I'm sure some people are going to ask. So you will see these on cards, and I'll show you actually if I edit in at the end. I might edit in the finished card so you'll see them. But they're really nice. These ones are made out of the flower forming foam, but then you've got ones like this which are made out of cardstock or paper. So that's actually the same die, but you can see the two different kind of flowers that you get with that. This one's much softer, this one's crisp, very 3D, and the colours are more vibrant. Personally, I still prefer paper. I love the soft effect that you get with the flower foam, but I just love the paper ones. I think they look so nice. I feel more comfortable working with the paper, and you can be a bit more heavy-handed with it. You can keep going in and adding more to it, which you kind of can with the foam, but not as much. But I'm going to talk you through just some things that I know and that I've learned watching lots of different tutorials over the years. So I just thought, I haven't made a tutorial actually doing this, so now we're going to do one. So I've got a sheet of the flower foam here. Now flower foam is usually 0.5 mil, and your normal craft kind of fun foam is 2 mil. Now it's that thicker foam that you won't get this effect with, because we're going to be using some heat. You don't need to have an iron, you can also use your heat tool. Again, when we get to that I'll explain it in more detail, but you'll see here this is paper thin, very thin stuff. Now the nice thing about the foam is, and I've got some colour on there, so we'll go this way, is you can fold it up, and I actually want to fold this into four quarters, so that when I die cut this it will cut through all 4 layers, and it's just really quick. So I'm just placing the dies on the top now. You want to make sure that you butt them right up to each other, and that way you've got, you want to save as much space as you can. So I'll be able to hopefully get 3 again in this section here. So that's just on all 4 of those layers, and I'm going to run that through my machine. Now when you run it through, you just want to run it through once, don't reverse it back again, because sometimes the foam will shift and then you're actually double cut and you're just ruined, especially with this delicate foam. I've done it a lot with the thicker foam. I forget and I run it through, run it back, and then it's just double cut and it just doesn't look very nice. So I'm going to run that one through. Okay, so I've just run that through once, and you'll see it just all pops out. Now it will almost look like it's one piece, but they will separate. You'll see there. So there's 2, and then I'll be able to separate this one here, 3, 4, and it's just so quick that you get all of those pieces just by that one pass. Now, because I don't want to obviously waste any of this foam, I'm going to pop the 3 dies back in that remaining space and get that all done. But now I've got all of them ready to ink up. I've used plain white just because I'm adding my own colour, but the flower foam comes in all different colours. I've got yellow here, I've got a pink, it's like a peachy colour, I've got a darker burgundy there. They're just, I've pretty much got every colour, blue, greens, all sorts, if you've got your leaves and things like that as well. But that's those ones. So again, just kind of get it back to how it was, and then pop that one up there, get this one down there, just move it around a bit until you get it in where you want, and then that one there. So I'm just going to run that one back through. Okay, so that's now the waist. Now if you've got even smaller flowers or the stamen detail, then use that space, but I've got so much white I can afford to get rid of this. You've got the space there, but you've obviously got the fold through it, but that's, see how much you've cut from that one piece. So it was actually when I was doing these ones that I thought this would be nice to film. So I've nearly finished this, but I've got one left here. So this is cut using the flower foam, it's just in the yellow. And I've started to add this orange colour. Now I've got here, it's almost dry, it's just a baby wipe. You could use your blending brushes, you can use your little sponges. I'll actually be using the Daubers, these little, they call them blending petals, I think, or buds, sorry, that's the word for them. There's all kinds of blending kind of tools you can use, but this baby wipe is really quick. So I'm using this old pastel set here. You can see them all in all the colours. Now you can use oil pastels, you can use gelatos, you can use your inks, you can use refills that you might have. You can decant them onto like an acrylic block and dip, you know, your blending tool into there. There's lots of ways to add the colour, so I'm just showing you this way and using that medium, but play around with what you have. You'll be surprised that you can get some really lovely effects. So I wanted to have this lovely orange on the yellow, so I've just got the orange there and I'm just popping the end there. I've got my finger in the end of the baby wipe and I'm just rubbing it onto the tips there. And you can go in, obviously, just like with your inks on paper, you know, the more you add, the deeper the colour, and you can add multiple colours as well. So if I show you this one here, there's the orange in the middle, there's a light pink and then a dark pink on the edge, and I'll be showing you how to make this one in a moment, which works with the same way. I've got the yellow, the light purple, and then that dark purple, but this one's already got the colour, it's already a yellow foam, so I thought this is just an even quicker way. I'm going to add some orange to the ends, but I may just add, let's go a fresh piece here. If I go to this one, I might add a deep red just on the very tips there. Can you see? Now, because this is a pastel, it would need a fixative, but I've been spraying it with a glitter over the top, and that's holding it. And once they're on the card, they don't really get touched. But you can spray fixative sprays if you're using pastels. If you're using inks like that, it's going to be fine. Some will still come off though, the foam, so you will have to kind of, you know, play around with them. There are companies that have specialist mediums for using your flower foam. So just play around with what you've got, because like I said, you might already have something. So this is very inexpensive what I'm using here, and actually a lot of this foam I picked up from a charity shop, so I didn't pay much for this at all. And if you look on the different, you know, websites and on the shopping channels, sometimes they do some very good deals with the flower foam. You can get some really big bumper packs. I'm going to just do that one there. I'm not going to do too many with that vibrant red. I think it's quite nice to have a mix of the deep colour with the lighter. So, you know, not being too precious with the application, just, you know, something like that. Keep this because you can just use another fresh part to it. So I'm going to be using my little craft iron here. This was from Amazon. It's a really nice little size, easy to store away. You can use a household iron. I've used my old one before. You don't really want to use your main nice one because you're going to get it mucky and yeah, just not worth it really. So I'm actually going to rest this on its back. You also want some kind of soft foam. This is just an old, I can't even remember where this was from. I cut it in half, but you can get the, again, flower foam mats. You know, there are kits with all of this, but this, I'm just using everything that I've got around my craft room really. But just some kind of foam mat will be needed really, because you're going to push them, you know, you're going to shape them into, you know, this flower shape. So I'm going to take the larger one first and I'm just going to sit it on top of the iron, and can you see straight away it starts to move. It's actually shrinking, and you can see now it takes seconds. And then I'm just going to turn it inside out, so I've got all the colour inside like so. Okay, so I've got all of the ends there, and then I'm going to twist. Now you do want to be careful with the foam because it can break, but it still can take some, you know, tension. You see that I'm just twisting the ends, and now when I unravel it, it looks like that. Now you can see there that's actually ripped where I've just gone obviously a bit too much, but you're not going to see that by the time I add all the other bits, so I'm actually going to take that away. This is the effect you'll get, and these are lovely little fillers. Don't actually know what you would call that. I have seen flowers like this, so if anybody knows, pop them in the comments. But again, now you don't have to do this either. You can just keep it like that, let it kind of lift, take it off quite quickly there, and then start to shape it while it's still warm, and you will have that effect. And then we can start layering up, because now that's dry, it's gone a bit crispy, because it's a plastic, so it's melting it a bit, You know, if you ever melt plastic and then it goes hard, it goes really, obviously very hard. That's kind of the same thing with this. It's very soft when you put it on. When you take it off and you let it cool, it now stays in that shape. Again, if I create two different styles, so we'll take another large one. Okay, take that one off, open that one up. You need to act pretty quick, but if it does go a bit too crispy before, then you could pop it back down. Can you see I've got a little mark there where I folded it slightly? You can put it back on again and almost remelt it, which I think I might do with that one. Just brush it along a bit, just so I can pull those out. And now you can sit that one on top of that. We're going to glue these together, but I'm just going to push in the middle. And that will just stretch it. So you can see the two different looks, and again, see that's now stayed in that shape. So that's going to sit with that one. I want to do another large one. Again, you can see how quickly that goes. So we're going to take it off, turn it over, and then I'm going to twist this one. Won't be as rough with it this time. And then take it all away, and you get like that. Like I said, that bottom one will end up covering because it goes up like this. You know, you're not going to see. And there's a darker purple one that I've got there as well. So then we'll do another nice one. Just keep it like that. You see it moves, does its own thing, and then quickly pop it down onto the mat. This is more of a bubble effect. So I'm just working it whilst it's still warm. Pop it on top of there. You can see now, got that lovely effect. Two very different looks, but they both work really nicely to create different, you know, depending on the style. So this one again will be another, I'm just going to keep it that way now because this one will probably be fed inside. And then this last one, I'm going to do the same. Okay, so I've got all of those. Whilst I'm here, I'll just show you on this one here. If I get a larger one, I'm just going to pop that to one side because I'll end up doing these. But I'll just show you another effect. So we'll take a little blending bud here. I'm just going to pop some yellow in the middle. This is now, I'm using my inks on this one, just to give you some other ideas. Personally as well, I think you can use any inks. I use all kinds of inks on these. Some are obviously going to work better than others. That one's just a bit darker. Go with that one there. Obviously the Distress Oxides as well will blend. And then I'm going to use these two pinks here, which are the Spectrum Noir Harmony inks. So I'm going to grab my baby wipe and I'm just going to take, you can see it's nice and juicy on that edge there, and just start adding the colour in there. Like so. And then with the darkest colour, I like to take it actually straight onto the ink pad and just move it around. So I'm just dunking the ends of the flower directly into the ink pad there, just to get a real intense edge. And you can always blend this a bit more in a moment, like so. Again, just pick up a bit more there. You'll see my hands are really covered in ink, so I'm getting marks there, but I'm going to show you how you can get rid of that in a moment because we're going to blend the last of this. So something like that. And then I want to take an orange. So I've just got this really deep orange. I'm actually going to take a drier baby wipe for this. And then I'm just going to flick that out. There we go, quite like that effect actually. So I'm going to keep that like so. So just have fun with the inks. There is no rule with how you know, add your colour and stuff. Just get rid of that little mark there that I can see. There we go. And just rub over it, it comes straight out. So now back to the iron again. And I'm going to show you how to create a bubble kind of look rather than stretching it. So in fact, I'll stretch the white one, but I'm going to lay that on here, and I like to push it down in the middle. You'll see it start to slightly come up. Take it off, put it straight onto your pad and push down in the middle, and just let that dry. And you'll see now we've got like a bubble effect. So you've kept the petal shape, whereas with these, can you see they're all facing upwards, whereas the ends are going away from you, they're facing down. Now you can keep it like that, layer up all of the petals, or you can then carefully, now if you've got nails, it's not a good thing because you get a mark. You see I've got a slight mark with my nail, so I'm putting mine thumbs on the side. Again, pull it just a little bit, not too much, but just around. And again, and then you'll get something like that. And then when you layer them up, your flower will look like this one. So that's another effect. So it's the same as what I've just done with that really. So we'll pop that to one side, finish off these flowers. So I'm just going to use my hot glue, pop a little bit in the middle there, and then grab the next size, offset it so the petals are overhanging, and then just push down. And the good thing about the hot glue is it will kind of melt the foam a little bit again, and then when it dries it just keeps that lovely shape. So if I just take that out, you can see there what lovely little flower we've got coming together. And then this one, just going to pop a little bit of glue on the back there, and then sit that one into the middle. And the smaller you go, when you push in the middle, they start to really kind of bunch up together. Okay, so now that glue's dry and you've got something like that. Then if you want to add a stamen detail in the middle, I'm going to use my pokey tool here, and I'm just going to stab through the middle. Okay, let that come down. Take that off so you've got a hole. And I've got these stamens here again, pick these up from charity shops. I got some when there was an offer on Craft Stash. The white ones you can stain, so they're always a good option to go for, because then you can match them if you want to change the colours, because they're nice in yellow for the centres. Let's take them from one that I've actually already opened. So I'm going to take, again, it's entirely up to you, but you want to get yourself a bunch of them together there. What have I got there? 2, 4, 6, I've got 7. And then you're going to fold it in half and then twist. You'll see they all bunch together. In fact, that one there is a bit too big, taller than the rest, so we'll snip that one away because that's only going to bug me. There we go. Now what you can also do is snip the bottoms of all of them. I'm actually going to snip away a bit more of that so the hole's bigger. So they're still all glued, but you can see now we've got a bigger hole, so we can thread this through really easily. Once you pull that through, get that beautiful detail there, and then just flip it over, grab your hot glue and just pop a bit of glue all the way around, so you're kind of encasing it. I let that dry and then I cut the whole bunch off. Once it starts to cool, you can squeeze that glue around it a bit more as well. But then if you cut that completely flush, it's easy then to stick onto your cards. How lovely does that look? And then I'm going to spray it in a moment with some glitter or shimmer spray. So now that's cooled enough for me to touch it, I can just start to squeeze it. And again, this is just going to start creating more shape again. So if you want it to be even more scrunched up, when that glue's warm enough for you to still, you know, touch without burning yourself, you've got that time, you can keep changing the way it looks, like so. And now just grab my scissors and I'm going to just snip that away, and then I'll be adding more glue onto there again to attach that to my card. But now that's all ready to use. And this is lovely to sit down if you've got like an afternoon, you just want to do something but you're not sure what. And you could make a lot of flowers, store them away, put them in little bags, give them to friends as happy mail. Really lovely effect. With this one here, I'm doing it exactly the same way. So with the largest ones, pop a little bit of glue in the middle, grab the next one. That's the one that's obviously a bit injured from where I pulled it too hard, but in a minute you're not going to see that. Again, just push it down, another bit of glue. A lot of people use the flower making tools for flower making with the foam. It's kind of the same process really. So yeah, if you go onto Amazon, I'll share some links. Again, very inexpensive. Get rid of the glue strings. And I'm just going to take that whole thing out. Again, it's good working with the glue when it's still warm because you've still got time to shape it. Now you've got that lovely look, and it's a great filler. You can just stuff it in under flowers there. So if we had those three together, I could pop that in there. Could have the purple ones here. I've got this blue one that's using another dye. You just start to create some really lovely effects. So that's just some ways to use the flower foam, but now I want to show you how to create this one here. This is my favorite. I absolutely love this. So again, I've die cut all these different pieces here from the new dies, and I'll show you those in a moment because I've not actually even showed the die set. So we've got, I'm going to use 2 large, a medium and a small. And in fact, I'm going to also ink up 2 mediums and 1 2 3 smalls, because I want to have, I think, 2 large, a medium and a small, something like that. It's just nice to have them kind of staggered in the size. Yellow ink here. First of all, I'm just gonna add some of that colour into the middle there. This is about a 200 GSM 180. That kind of weight's really good for flowers because you don't want it too thick, because you want to be able to manipulate it, and if it's too thick, it's just, you're not going to get the desired look really. So again, I'm not being too careful, just add that colour. Okay, and then I've got these 2 purple colours here. So first of all, I'm going to use the pale fig, and again I'm going to use this here. This is really just for speed. So take one of these, and then I'm just going to cover, leaving a little bit of a white space between the yellow and the purple there. But you can use your blending brushes. I just find it's very quick using your finger and inexpensive as well. We all start out somewhere, so if anybody's watching this and is like, oh, actually I really like this, well, you've probably got baby wipes. You can pick up some inexpensive inks from your local craft shop, cardstock, and you can cut the flowers as well. You don't, if you haven't got dies, you can make flowers very easily as well. So maybe you want to do some home decor, pop some flowers in a frame, shadow box or something. And you don't want to be too precise, because when you look at flowers in the wild, just looking out my window, there's all kinds of different colours around, and there's no perfect lines. So you don't need perfect lines when you do yours. Now I'm only using the quick dry because I liked the colours, but you'll get nicer blends with your oxides and any of your blending inks really. So more of a pigment ink rather than a dye ink. You're going to have a bit more time to, you know, move that colour around, but for the effect I want, these have been working fine. Okay, so that's that colour done, and then I'm going to use the darker, so it's the crushed velvet, and I'm going to again take this, and it's easier with the cardstock, you can just roll it around, and can you see, you get that lovely outline there. In fact, if I lay it down against the white, you really see the deeper colour. So I'm just going to do that with all of them. Okay, gone a bit heavy on that one, but you'll soon hide that. And then if you want to just not have it as harsh, because this is a quick dry, I'm going to bring the ink pad back in and just take some off there. But you can just go in and just add a little bit more depth. So you can see it goes into those, you know, oh, I'll hide that one as well. This is what I mean, you've got to be careful, wash your hands in between. But I'm showing you the whole process here. But you can see there we've got the real intense colour, then a more blended version, then into that lighter purple, and then into the yellow there. So again, just going to go around and just add a bit more to those. So now I've got my flowers ready there. So next you can shape these with this and the foam mat here, which I'll be doing in a moment, but I'm going to do another step in between, and that's spray them with some water. Now that's optional, you don't have to, but it's going to now give me this, can you see how it all looks like a colour run? And it's just a softer look. So if you want that punchy, bold effect there, then keep it, and it's lovely. I love this, but because I've done it on this one, I need these all matching. So all I'm going to do, move all of those out of the way because I don't want to get any water on those. Just got a spray bottle here, and if you're using distressed oxide inks as well, or any oxide inks, they will oxidate, they will react to the water, so you'll get some really nice effects with that as well. But just a little bit, you don't need a lot, just to kind of colour them. And then I'm just going to let them run a little bit. You can see already we've got some lovely looks coming out here. Move that one off there a bit. These might be a little bit darker actually, because I think I went a bit more heavier with the darker colour there. So just bring back in that one. But they're still going to work. I still want them to have that kind of finish on them. But just give them a minute for that water to just be absorbed. Okay, then I've just got some paper towel, and I'm just going to blot any excess water. So just take that all off. Because I want them soft now that I can mould them. But I don't want them so wet that it will rip. So just take that off. You see we get that lovely detail. So again, any extra water, just get rid of that. There we go. So you should now have damp flowers. So it just makes them easier to work with. So I'm going to bring back in this tool. So now I've got my soft foam mat here. I'm going to flip it over. You want a larger bulbarian, even bigger than this if you've got it. And you're just going to gently, you don't want to go so hard that you could tear through, but this is, like I said, it's damp. So it's still pretty strong. But now, and when I flip it over, add a bit of shape there, and you've got that really lovely looking petal. And you just want to do that on all of them. So you flip it over, you work from the back, like so. Now you can add other effects, so I could go like this. I'll show you. So I'll go all the way around. So that one's a bit wetter, it's struggling a bit there, so I need to be careful with that one. This one's a bit wetter than I would like. And then flip it over, and then you can pull it down, and can you see you get a completely different looking petal. So again, if you come from the middle, just pull it down. So you see now that's finished with it all up, and this one you've got that bubble effect again. So it's all down to the look that you want, and obviously the colours you use will just make it look like something different, but I want to keep it looking the same as that. So I'm just going to go back in, pop it behind, and I can just go back over that again and you wouldn't know. And then push in the middle. Okay, so I'm just going to finish all these. Okay, now I want to dry these so they're nice and crispy. So I'm just going to grab my tweezers there, get your heat gun nice and hot. So I'm just blasting it with the heat there. Shouldn't take long at all, you know, they're only damp. And whilst that's still warm, just grab your mat and just push it in the middle, because it will cool in that 3D shape. But it's really, you hear it, it's like all crispy. Okay, so I'm going to get all of these dry and do the same with each one. Okay, so they're all dry, and then you can start building them up. So I'm going to take some glue on the back, and again bring in my foam here, and you want to offset it and then push that down, and as you push it down again, it's going to dry in that more 3D shape. You can kind of, you know, manipulate it a bit, move it around if you want to change it slightly. And then I'm going to take the next size down, and then offset that one again, and that's going to remelt the glue below a little, so you want to keep that there until everything starts to cool. And then I'm going to add the smallest one in the middle. And because I pushed down, I'm using the smaller end now. Actually, that's the one with the, so we'll go with this one here, although you're not really going to see it, you push it in there so much, but I'm going to use the smaller end now so I can really get in there and just move everything around easier. Now if I bring that up, see, we've got that really lovely flower. So the next one I want to do is a medium, so that's just going to be 2 of these and the small one in the middle. And then this last one, that glue's dry now, so we'll have that on the bottom. It's just going to have these 2 together. Okay, like so. And then to finish it off, I've just got a shimmer spray here, and this is Perfect Pearls Mist. It's biscotti. You can make these yourself as well with rubbing alcohol and mica powder, but I'm just going to spray this over. You'll see once that dries, it's not as covered as it looks there. Just give that a minute to dry. Okay, so now you can see all that lovely shimmer. And again, if you want to add stamen detail, then I'll just grab a few here, twist them around. I'm not going to add them into the little ones, I don't think, but maybe just the bigger one here. So again, grab my mat there and just push through. Again, if you want a bigger hole, you can snip through each one before you stick it down, but I think that's going to be enough. I might just push through with that one there, that's better. There we go. And then I can just slide that straight through. Just finishes it off nicely. And again, just going to add the glue all the way around, let it cool, and then squash it over there. You could have a longer actual stem there as well and use your flower tape and, you know, make these to go in vases, you know, decorate. It's entirely up to you. So I've just laid them out here so you can see them a bit better against that white background, but how lovely do they look, especially when they hit the light. And then there's the flower foam ones. And these are very lightweight as well. I mean, the paper ones aren't too heavy at all, but those ones are like air. There's nothing to them. These ones almost, they look like there's something you'd find under the sea, like little sea urchins. But to show you how they then look on cards, so here's some cards that I finished here. This is this. So that's in the foam, and that's just using it in cardstock. That's in the foam, but without distressing it and, you know, twisting it. So you get very, very different flowers. So, you know, with that one die, you can create so many different looks. This one is this one here. So you can see how that looks, and that's just plain cardstock, no ink added to it at all. And then the insides here are using this die. And you can see that one a bit better in this one here. So that's how this one looks if you just layer it up in cardstock. And these are this one again, just adding different layers. And then I've also done this one here using the glitter card, and there's vellum in between there. And then that one is this effect, but again in cardstock, so just inked up, but that's exactly how I inked up. I showed you that one in foam. That's that look there. And then the last one, just to give you more ideas, you can see here, but you can see there I've got that more intense colour on the outside and then the yellow inside the flowers there. So I hope you found this video useful. These are the dies that I use. So it's my Funky Florals, and it's the latest collection, so it should be right at the top when you click on the link below, or it'll be a direct link taking you straight to that. There's also centres here for the flowers, and there's leaves, which you'll see in those cards that I just showed you, but also I'll be demoing these and you'll see them in other tutorials as well. So thanks for watching. Check the links in the description box below, any videos that might be popping up now. Also subscribe if you haven't. So if you like today and you haven't subscribed, please hit that notification bell as well, and then you'll be notified every time I upload a new tutorial. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.